Hi, welcome to this week's edition of PHQ, questions from the personality hacker community. My name is Joel Markwitt.
And I'm Antonia Dodge.
And Addison, let's get right to our question today.
Hi, Joel and Antonia. Maybe you have addressed this in a previous podcast, but how would you recommend that people A, find, and B, engage with a mentor or coach? If I'm feeling empowered to do some personal or career work, because it all blends together, but I'm also feeling like I need a coach to help me, how do I find that coach in a work setting? Do you have any practical tips? Thanks, Dana.
Thanks, Dana, for the question. I look at coaches and mentors in three broad categories, personally in my life, and this might be helpful to you, how I look at it. I look at it as asynchronous coaches, informal coaches, and formal coaches. So let me give you an example of each of these and how I look at them. Asynchronous coaches are coaches that come from materials and books you read. Maybe these people are dead. You know, standing on the shoulders of giants is a quote we've used a lot here at Personality Hacker. These are the people that have written great works, great tools in book or audio or recordings. I think of somebody like Tony Robbins. I've never met Tony Robbins in my entire life yet. And I've learned a lot from reading his books and hearing some of his audios and videos. He's a asynchronous coach in my life, someone who has mentored me by observing. Richard Branson's another one. A lot of business leaders and people I read about are asynchronous coaches. You don't really have a relationship with them, and you learn from the materials they've created. Then you have what I define as an informal coach. These are people in your life who you have identified as people who you want to emulate, or you can learn something from them. And you can reach out to these people in a relationship way or in an observation or questioning way. I had an executive, a CEO at a company I worked with a few years back who was really good at what he did. And I remember asking him a question because I wanted to emulate some of the ways he was behaving when he had to deal with lots of people that needed his attention all at the same time. There was this party we had to go to for an event, and I watched him work the room. And later afterward, I asked him a question. I said, how do you deal with everybody coming up to you? You're the head of this organization, so everyone wants an audience with you. How do you deal with everyone in real time when you have so many people coming at you? And he said, well, what I do is I always have an assistant next to me. And as I talk to somebody, I connect with them. I get a little bit of information. We have a little bit of a talk, and I find out what they need. And as soon as I find out what they need, I pass them off to my assistant to follow up with them, and I move on to the next person. So this way I can continue, and then the assistant follows up and follows along with me and continues following me around the room all night. And that's how I can get to as many people as I get to. And I said, oh, that's brilliant. So this is my identification. This is my idea of an informal coach, someone who's not actually coaching me, but I was able to have an audience with them and ask them a quick question about something they're doing in their life. And he mentored me in how to work a crowd, work a room. The third type of coach or mentor is a formal coaching and mentorship relationship. And these are people you would hire. You'd have some type of a formal arrangement with them, whether it's online or in person, and you're working with them to solve specific problems in your business or in your life or whatever you're trying to do. And how I would recommend going after a coach like this is identify people who are at a place that you want to be at that also do coaching around that thing. So let's say you want to start an online business, for example. Find someone who has started an online business, not someone who teaches how to start an online business, but has actually started an online business and also coaches around starting an online business, and then enter into a formal coaching arrangement with them. And I've always thought this is a great way to find coaches and mentors in my life, is I like to identify people who have done what I want to do or are where I want to be, and then I reach out to them and create a formal relationship with them in a coaching mentor relationship. So I think those are three different styles of coaching and mentorship, and I think that obviously the more formal end, the third one, where it's an extremely formal coaching relationship, is something that takes a little more effort to find, and you got to make sure you're on the same page. But I think if you think about it in these terms, really you could see a lot of people in your life becoming mentors and coaches for you. A lot of people, as you go through your business life, your daily life, your relationship life, a lot of people you can learn from, and you start to see almost everyone in some way as a coach or a mentor. So those are some ideas that I have on the ways I define coaching and mentorship and how I would seek out a coach or a mentor in my life.
I think too, if somebody is where you want to be at, like you just mentioned, Joel, there's somebody who is where you want to go. They've already accomplished that. Like you want to start a business and you find somebody who's successfully started a business, maybe even the specific kind of business that you want to start, but they're not formal coaches. I remember one of my mentors saying that the way that he got his mentors is that he would solve a problem or a challenge that they were experiencing that they couldn't find the solution to, and then he would offer them that solution, and that would be his introduction into a relationship with them. So if you've got your eye on somebody and they're somebody who maybe feels a little out of reach and they aren't doing formal coaching, but you want to get them into a relationship with you where they will be your mentor or coach, one of the ways you can do that is by figuring out what challenges or problems they're experiencing and then solving that challenge or problem and then presenting it to them. So that's one way to, basically curry favor with somebody who could be a coach. And I think really feeling like a sense of permission around reaching out to people and feeling a sense of permission about, approaching somebody to be your mentor. Some of us might feel a little reticent, but if a person is where you want to be at, they were at your place at one time. Yeah. And if you're really serious about what you're doing and you're really motivated and you really are willing to do things like solve challenges that might not even be your challenges, but are somebody else's, I think that that's a great way to introduce yourself to a person and find out if they're willing to enter a mentorship or coaching relationship with you.
I think that brings up a good point about you, like as a coach, you and I coach people. One of the things that we spend a lot of time on when we're first starting to coach someone is we help the person get very clear on what they want. What outcome do they desire? So Dana, one of the things you can do right now before you even get to the coaching level, and I think this will actually help you find a coach and a mentor, is get very clear, very specific about what you're trying to accomplish. Is this a relationship coach you need? What do you want the outcome to be in your relationship? Is this a business coach you need? What is the exact and specific outcome you want in business? And the more specific you are, the more you'll be able to identify the coach that you need and reach out to that person. And then when you get into the arrangement there, you're going to be much more equipped to utilize them to their fullest capacity.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
So thanks for the question, Dana. And if you have a question, you've been listening, you'd like to ask us, you can go to personalityhacker.com/questions. We have two ways you can ask questions there. You can write it in or you can record it and we can edit the audio directly into this episode or these episodes in the future. You can also join our growing community of like minds, people that think very similar to you, over at facebook.com/personalityhacker or twitter.com/personalityhack. My name is Joel Mark Witt.
And I'm Antonia Dodge.
We'll talk with you on the next PHQ, Questions from the Personality Hacker Community.